Hello and welcome to An Old Man Watches, and today I'm going to be talking about The Amazing Transparent Man from 1960. I think last time I may have said 1957, but I had the year wrong. 1960. And in The Amazing Transparent Man, we meet a safecracker named Joey Faust, a man with a surname of a conspicuous literary reference. Look up Faustian bargain if you need to. And Faust gets sort of half bribed, half blackmailed into helping Major Kenner in the theft of an experimental radioactive substance called X-13. Now you see, Kenner has kidnapped a scientist's daughter, and he's using her to blackmail her father, who is a genius, into helping him develop a means of turning people invisible via super X-rays, which are obviously so much better than the regular kind of X-rays. But the process is not perfected, and they need the X-13 to conduct further research. So Kenner wants to turn Faust invisible, so that Faust can go steal the stuff, so that Kenner can make an entire invisible army. Faust's honestly not too keen on the whole thing. He'd really rather not be involved with Kenner's schemes and instead, just like use the fact that he's able to be invisible to steal lots of money and run off to Mexico with it. His efforts to forge his own destiny in the face of Kenner's demands are the main conflict of this film. So I want to be clear right off the bat. This is a low-budget B-movie starring no one you're likely to have heard of. It's not terribly good. But it also manages to be not especially bad or tedious. So I thought we should talk about how it manages to overcome its obvious limitations of budget and quality to attain a level of being forgettably average, really. I mean, it's certainly, as I said, it's not good, but it is probably better than it might otherwise have been. And let's talk about why that is. So first of all, this film clocks in at a mere 57 minutes, which not only opens it up for jokes about it being vanishingly short, but it's also actually a positive for it. Nowadays, we live in an era where films that run under 2 hours seem like a rarity, and they can often stretch for 3 or 95 million hours if you let Peter Jackson direct them. But to be honest, as the Bard reminded us, brevity can be an underrated quality. I love Avengers Endgame, but it's a movie you need an entire afternoon to watch. The Amazing Transparent Man won't make you stick around for much more than an episode of a typical TV show. And its short runtime and relatively brisk-paced, if somewhat nonsensical story mean that it just doesn't outstay its welcome. You can knock it over well before your attention starts wandering. Now, as I have just alluded to, the actual plot of the film is rather silly. The malevolent Major Kenner wants to use super X-rays, which is the kind of thing that you might expect to see in an early Marvel comic. Beware, Spider-Man! Your own radioactive spider powers are no match for the might of my super X-ray abilities. Of course, I think those early Marvel comics owed rather a lot to 1950 science fiction films. And even though this didn't come out till 1960, it was made in 1959. It is very much a 50s science fiction film. And then, we have Major Kenner's plan for his super X-rays, which is to use them to make Joey Faust invisible so that he can steal X-13 and make more people invisible. Apparently, Kenner believes an invisible army will be unstoppable. I'm not sure that that's as true as he thinks. I think, a handful of invisible assassins are probably much more effective, but it doesn't really matter. The zany schemes and science of these films can often be one of their more endearing qualities, and I found that the nonsense worked well for me here. I'm not, convinced by the story, but I don't have to be. This is light entertainment. Finally, I think Joey Faust is an interesting protagonist for a 50s film. The era tended to be dominated by clean-cut men of action, and Faust is an unapologetic crook, whose opposition to the villainous Kenner comes not from any moral objection to the man's plans to seize power, but from the simple fact that Faust would rather use his new ability to get rich and live the good life down Mexico way. Now, 1950s movie reality doesn't allow for Faust to get what he wants, of course, but the script is surprisingly free of a straightforward redemption arc for him. We aren't offered something so obvious as Faust meeting a good woman, learning the error of his ways, and resolving to be a better man. He remains a bit of a black hat, even as he tries to thwart Kenner's schemes. For the era, that's a pretty unusual choice, and one I appreciated. So there you go. 3 reasons why I liked the Amazing Transparent Man more than I've liked a lot of cheapy science fiction films. I do want to reiterate, I'm in no way saying that this is a good film. The plot is silly, the acting is mediocre, and the effects are very basic, about the level of quality of an episode of The Twilight Zone. And come to think of it, I mean, if you trimmed this script down to sort of half its length, emphasised the irony of the final plot revelation, it'd probably look right at home as one of the more filler-esque offerings of that TV show. You just need Rod Serling to pop out at the start and end of the film to hit his usual sound bites in The Twilight Zone. But that was The Amazing Transparent Man. Next time, 2009 Korean fantasy action film Wuchi, which you may find variously subtitled as The Goblin Warrior, which is the title I saw it under, or The Demon Slayer, or The Taoist Wizard. It's all the same movie. They're just different titles for the same film. They're not multiple Wuchi films as far as I can tell. In any case, that's next time. In the meantime, thanks for watching this one, and I hope you enjoyed it.